Thank you for checking out my channel once again. This is going to be a interview with an author. And today I'm excited to be speaking with this author. I came across his work due to a local store. Shout out to For Real, who facilitated a meet and greet the author event. So I have to give credit where credit is due. Had it not been for that event at For Real, I may not have known about this author. So thank you, For Real Clothing and Accessory Store, keeping us tapped in to what's hot and giving opportunities for others to shine. We definitely appreciate you. I have the pleasure of chopping it up with the author you are about to meet. You know, I shot my shot to get him to agree to an interview. So I have with me today Christopher J. Harris Sr., who is a formidable mentor, dedicated educator, and established entrepreneur hailing from the west side of Kansas City, Missouri. His life story is a testament of resilience and ambition, rooted in humble upbringing where he was lovingly raised by his grandmother, Frances Griffin, a longtime advocate for learning and self-improvement. Christopher has pursued a diverse and rich educational journey. His academic foundation began with earning his GED in Mississippi, followed by an associate's degree in business administration from Redlands College in El Reno, Oklahoma. He further expanded his expertise by completing 30 credits in human development at Kansas State University. Christopher channels his deep well of experience in education in multiple impactful roles. As an entrepreneur, he brings a disciplined and strategic mind to his ventures. As a mentor and educator, he is passionate about guiding others towards their potential, embodying the principles of hard work and self-mastery. Perhaps his most notable professional achievement is his standing as an established author. Christopher has penned and published over 20 books across
20.
various platforms. Yes.
Over. Yep.
Covering a range of subjects that reflect his insight into business, human development, and life itself. A dedicated father of 13 children. Now, I did have to read that twice.
13.
Christopher J. Harris Sr. is a man's man, well polished, well seasoned, and profoundly well educated. His life work offers a powerful example of how dedication and commitment to personal growth can build a lasting legacy. So, man himself, Christopher J. Harris Sr., aka ogpluger. How are you this good evening?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm here. I'm making it. If you haven't noticed, I'm excited. I'm fumbling over my words because I'm so excited to have you
Right.
here today. Let's just kind of jump right on into it. Now, the book we're gonna be talking about today,
The nerve of a hoe.
The Nerve of a Hoe. Now, I think when we first met, I kind of gave you a little flack for that title.
Right.
But the book holds up to the title. It does. So, what made you pick this title?
So, first, can I say 97% of my books were written and completed while I was incarcerated. So, The Nerve of a Hoe was actually the second book that I've wrote. The first book that I've wrote ain't even been published yet. Fun fact there.
Are
So, it
we
was
going to
the
get
second.
that though?
Yeah. It's called Bloodlines to the Death, and it's just a book about dogs, dog fighting and stuff. It isn't really relevant to the scope of people that I want to reach right now and like what's going on. It's the first book that I wrote because that's really what I was doing before I was incarcerated. I was breeding dogs and The nerve of a hoe came about. I was in solitary confinement, the shoot, whatever you want to call it. This came about 2 years in. I did 8, but this came about 2 years in, and I sat in there 4 months, so I had time to sit and reflect on all the stuff that was happening to me and all the stuff that I was seeing happening to other people while I was incarcerated. My uncle, Raymond Florio, he's an author as well. He used to write me these little messages, like they wouldn't even be letters. There'd be messages like, stay safe, keep your head up, know your mind goes beyond these walls. Like, and that'd be the whole letter. Like, and one day, he wrote me and he was like, "You're not gonna be rapping no more." Cause I was rapping before I went to prison. He was like, "You got a lot of time, so you're not gonna be rapping. You're gonna be too old for that. Write, write, write a page a day.
Right.
You know, write a book. Book lasts long." I got to thinking. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can write raps. So, like I said, Bloodlines was my first one. The nerve of a hoe, that was personal. It took me to complete and finish that book. It took me about 2 years to complete and finish it the way it is now.
Okay.
Because it went from degrading women to, nah, I don't want to put that in there because my daughter might read it. Went through so many versions of that.
Okay.
To where I'm like, I don't want this in there. I don't want that in there. I don't want this in there. This is too real. People's gonna know who this is.
So let me stop you right there and go ahead and give this disclaimer real quick, because this conversation is going to include adult content. Okay. The book includes adult content. There are some sensitive aspects of the book and possibly this conversation, such as rape, language, drug usage, death, etc. So just be aware that we will more than likely talk about some of these things during the course of this conversation, and the book definitely contains those things. So give us a snapshot of what this book is about.
The story, of course, it starts off with two girls from Topeka who are friends, and everybody from Topeka basically thinks like, Kansas City's the place to be because they go to the Legends, they go to Westport, they go to, they don't really go through the hood. They don't really go through what we go through there every day. You know what I mean?
I get a taste if you go to Prospect, though.
Yeah, I mean, everybody say Prospect. I mean, don't get me wrong. Prospect is the most driven main street in Kansas City,
But it gets a
right?
little deeper than that there.
Way
In
deeper.
other
Like
people, yeah.
every neighborhood has a street that you don't want to go down.
Right.
Independence Avenue, 12th Street, that's the north side. Armour Boulevard, that's the west side. You know what I mean? Prospect, that runs from the north to the south through the east. You know what I mean? So that's why Prospect was so deadly, because you can go from the north side, the east side, and the south side. You know what I mean? And it rolls through three different sides of town. So Armour only rolls from the west side to like Midtown, Paseo, and turns into 35th after that. Back to your original question, it's about two girls that come from Topeka down to Kansas City, and one's going to school, the other one is her friend. The one that is basically out there, she gets into some stuff. The one that isn't out there actually gets into some stuff here in Topeka that she wants to get away from. And after that, the story's about them and how they get into stuff in Kansas City by being from another place. But I tell a story of other events and things that happen in people's daily lives, like how mothers be so quick to be judgmental to their daughters, and how they be basically having the more control in their back
Yeah.
on these men, and how it is for the men, and just real life situations that I know for a fact that's didn't happen, or that's didn't happen to me. I put it in book form.
Hometown is Topeka, by the way.
Okay.
So I was delighted to see how others experience the city. And yes, Topeka is the capital of Kansas, but everybody knows Kansas City, and Kansas City, Missouri. So I remembered that during our Chop It Up at the event that you mentioned that you were from Missouri.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's kind of just like a hop, skip, and a jump away. Outside of actually living there, or did you have to research anything about Topeka to put those nuggets in this book?
Most definitely. So listen, just real quick. I got to Topeka in 2008. I haven't been here since then. Prior to 2008, I didn't even know Topeka exists. Well, I did because we had some cousins that I have forgotten and don't even know to this day come from Topeka back when I was little. I think they end up moving to Denver, but I'm not sure. So that's the first time I heard of Topeka. I was like 10. Another time I was incarcerated from 21 to 26, I met a guy named Michael Pullman. He's from Topeka. And I'm like, we're in Missouri this time. This is state, not federal. So I'm like, man, what you doing over here in Missouri? You know what I mean? He got to telling me or whatever. I'm like, dang, and we end up becoming friends. So much that he had hooked me up with the mother of my kids that's from up here while we were incarcerated. You know how that goes. Somebody knows somebody or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And this is
That's
a
in the
white,
book too.
right? And this is a white
Somebody that
guy.
knows somebody get
this is
gets the
this,
hookup, yeah, with the girl.
right.
Yeah, yep, that's in the book.
So this is a white guy, my brother, that knew a black girl that was, a good black woman. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, shh, bro, if you hook me up with her, I'm coming to Topeka. So, but you know how it is in there, broken promises. A lot of people say things that they don't mean. People get out. Listen, I'm a for sure list. That's my company on the top of that book. I'm a for sure list. If I tell you something, that's what it is. So when I got out, guess what? I called him. Hey, look, she ended up coming to get me. Me and her on the way to Topeka, my guy. So
Wow.
that's the first taste I got of Topeka. So back then we lived in Montero because I actually got permission from my PO to come here. It's only 50 miles away from Kansas City, so it's still in the probation radius of
Mhm.
Kansas City. So he said as long as you get a job, you can stay up there. So I stayed up here maybe for about 6 months in 2008.
Okay.
So I kind of knew like the area, but I've always been a research guy because I went to school. I'm like, dang, how many people's here? What's the diversity? How many black people to white people to Mexican people, blah, blah, blah. And I did all that research back then.
Hmm.
So when I go to make this book, my family sends me books while I'm incarcerated. So I requested an almanac. So that's how I got some of the stuff that I put in the book as far as like how many residents, the information about the South Side basically came from, her family here in Topeka, just hearing their stories and what was going on back in the day.
Right. Yeah, I was like, oh wow, and I'm like, yeah, I know where that's at. Yeah, I know where that's at. So I was like,
Yeah.
it kind of, if anybody is from Topeka, it definitely gives you that connection when you're reading it because you can definitely visualize, oh yeah, I know where that's at. Yep, I know what he's talking about right there. So that
Mm-hmm.
was an interesting aspect to read. Now you said this book is based on true events. So, while reading it, I was really trying to see and figure out who was who.
I bet
I
a
was,
lot of people
I
do.
was, I was like, let me. Is that? Well, maybe that could be. Well, maybe that's that. So, do the people
And it
in
might be. You
the?
will never know. You will never know. It might be.
Now, I'm pretty sure you changed names.
Of course.
Do they know that this might be a twist of them in this book?
I'm not sure if they know, to be honest. Neither do I care. Look, they should have bought the book to find out.
Okay.
So if I don't hear no backlash, then that means they ain't bought the book. That's where we go with that. A lot of stuff has changed to
Right.
where this particular story might be the story that you know about, but the place and the person that happened to is reversed or changed.
Okay.
So let's say I am talking about, let's just say I knew you and I'm talking about a situation that we had.
But we
You
gonna
probably
clarify.
would
I'm not in the book. We gonna clarify that though.
absolutely not. No, but you couldn't really put a finger on that that's you, because so much stuff is
Yeah.
twisted. But they
Okay.
are real events and real situations. I mean, the situations in that book happens nationwide
Yeah.
because of our culture. It's just the culture that we in here, the Black Americans. This stuff goes down in California all the way to New York, from Texas all the way to Minnesota. You have people like that in that book everywhere. You have situations like that going on everywhere.
So while reading this book, I got the feeling of like I was having to sit down, getting a good gossip session, getting the lowdown on some individuals. So you mentioned that these are, real life events that typically can really happen anywhere and really can happen to anybody. So I want to talk about one of the situations that was in the book. Kind of touched on it already. Sierra and Ashley, when they went to the party, they were drugged and raped.
Right.
Now, when you said that, you kind of had many layers of this story and you thought about, well, maybe I shouldn't be as harsh, or
Uh-huh.
maybe you pulled back a little. Was that one of the parts of the story that you were like, how do I want to tell this without going too far, but giving enough?
Absolutely. That story was hard to tell
Mm.
because that would, even though the guy is really dead, that what really happened, it would be a lot of incriminating stuff in there. You know what I mean? So I had to redo that a lot. I had to redo where it was at, the scene, just so it wouldn't be so familiar. I wouldn't want to raise anybody to be angry. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to bring awareness to the women. That was my point of putting that in the book.
Okay.
Because there are gullible women out there like that, and there are women who follow their friends
Mm-hmm.
to stuff that they know they shouldn't be following their friends to. I want to bring awareness. That's where the nerve of a hoe comes in at. It's giving women a lot of game too.
Right.
It
I almost felt like that piece in itself was a cautionary tale. Women, we talk about, we go together, we stay together, we leave together.
right,
Um,
right,
and that's kind of the rule, but we oftentimes break that rule because our homegirl's like, shoot, I'm talking to him, and we're like, but we came together, we're supposed to stay together, we're supposed to leave together. And you can't force another person to abide by that code.
right,
And
right.
it felt like in this particular situation, that code was just flat out. It I don't even know if it existed because of how things rolled out, but it definitely felt like this is a cautionary tale that, although you were very blunt in how you delivered it, and even I'm gonna be honest, within about the first 30 pages, I was clutching my pearls. I was like, "Oh, is this what we doing?" With you saying that you kind of had to pull back, I was in my mind. I'm currently thinking, "Oh, was that the pullback?"
Right. I mean, hey, the pullback on it was really the details.
Mm,
Not necessarily what happened. What happened happened.
right.
You know what I mean? And just again, the purpose of me telling that story was to bring
Yeah.
our women to awareness of what happens, what goes down from a dude's perspective. Because I wrote that book. A man wrote that book. So,
And
and this
that's
stuff,
another thing I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you, do y'all really be talking like this?
I mean, I ain't gonna give it away like Steve Harvey did in his book, but you know, some of those things do come about. They really do.
I did it from the book. There's like a correlation between Tiara coming from, the two-parent home, you know,
Right.
kind of good life versus some of the other characters that didn't, and
Hmm.
how bad things can happen to either one of them, no matter what their background really was, and some of the things that the characters went through. So did you intend it that way?
That's just the way the story came. I mean, I intended for it to be real as it is. You know what I mean? As far
Mhm.
as the characters, what they do, what kind of backgrounds they come from, because it all mixes together in real life too. I wanted to give the different readers the feel that, okay, this is like a situation that I know, or this is like a situation that I know, or this is like a situation that I know. You can be in college and relate to stuff that happens in that book, or you can be from the hood and relate to stuff that happens in that book. You can be a woman or a man, or, you know, from all walks of life. Nothing was really intended on that outlook. It's just the way it came.
Who's your intended audience? Just any and everybody, or is it kind of like I really want, you know, a demographic to hone in on what's in this book?
The women,
Okay.
the women, because the nerve of a hoe is going to really, it's gonna make a woman be like, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Some women be like, what? Some women is gonna be like, dang, let me hear what, let me get the tea on this. You know what I mean? But it's not what you think it's gonna be. Most people, when they hear that, they think it's a book degrading women. No, it ain't. It's a book about situations that women go through, that men go through. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
just so happened that it's probably more scandalous stuff in there than men did than women. You know what I mean? Just to
Well,
tell you the truth.
well, you know, um, Ricky,
Right.
Ricky was one of the male characters in this book. And you know, uh he had quite a few baby mamas. He had a
Ricky
few
did.
he had a few baby
Ricky did.
mamas. You know, he also, okay.
What?
I really want to ask you if you Ricky. I
You
mean,
know
cause
what?
I really do. I want to ask you if you're Ricky.
I'm gonna put to you like this. Everybody who knows me don't give a damn what I say. I'm Ricky. They don't give a damn. They don't give a damn what I'm talking about. I could be like, nah, they could be like, man, bull crap. You know what I'm saying? And they get to talk about something else because it's already over with. It's a done deal. In they mind,
Yeah.
I'm Ricky. So
Okay. Well, you know, I tried. But you neither confirm nor deny. Is that the answer? You did touch on some things that the men go through. A situation where the man was actually getting played by the lady,
Mhm.
where, you know, she was asking for money and she had a whole nother dude. And then there was a conversation that was had. And I thought that particular part of the story was like, the interaction between the two men felt like some real grown man stuff. You
Mhm.
know, they had a conversation, they came to a realization, and yeah, it could have went left. But I felt like if another man was reading that hopefully they would say, okay, I need to do some grown man stuff.
Right.
And if I find myself in this situation where, quite honestly, you're getting played by a lady,
Mhm.
and another man tries to inform you, that you would take the grown man approach with that conversation. Did you want to relay that in this story that way?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Things can be talked about without war. It's too many people in jail and in the grave over fighting over a woman.
Mhm.
You don't have to be hard with dealing with a situation like that when you have to talk to another man about a woman that y'all both have in common. You don't have to be, because you get too many times where men try to be hard. Yeah, this is that, this is that, this is what it. Man, look, it don't have to be like that. Let me tell you something about a man that will do something to you. He's a nice person. He's the nicest person you ever want to meet. In the 12 years that I've been incarcerated in my whole entire life, and I'm 43, I've never met a killer that was hard. I've never met a rah rah, ooh, tough. No, never. I never met one. Every one of them was nice and respectful. Excuse me, pardon me. You know what I mean? Like, so, and they can
Until they're
actually,
not.
exactly. It's exactly. But I'm saying they don't have that rah rah personality. Most of them will take, a talking approach because nobody wants to chase their meal, not even a line. Nobody wants to chase their meal. People rather for you to come to them than for them to run you away and have to chase you. You know what I mean? And that's what I've been taught. So a masculine man don't have to display all that rah-rah stuff to get his point across or to let a person know or to get some type of understanding. And that's what that situation was about. Understanding. Men don't have to go the rah-rah tough route. You know what I mean?
You mentioned this in the book. Missouri Jack Boys. Is that a real thing?
Oh yeah, they just say called the Missouri Jack Boys. You got all types of cliques and things in Kansas City. You know what I mean? You just like the Kia Boys and the Jeep Boys or whatever they doing out here now. You know what I mean? The little cliques. But yeah, you do got people that go around and do stuff like that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Especially now. I mean, this was per se back in my day. You know what I mean? This is and it's still everything in there is still relevant to this day, probably times 10. It's probably more of the things that's happening in that book going on right now than it was when I actually wrote the book.
You talk about gullible women, right? You mentioned that. Crystal, Ashley, and Tiara were a little bit gullible. For the gullible woman, how do they prevent some of those situations? I was kind of hoping that at some point that would kind of be incorporated into the story. Or did you just think the
I,
book itself is the answer?
that too, but I didn't want to give too much of that on the Nerve of a Hoe because the sequel to that is the Nerve of Niggas.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be more situations that occurred that I didn't speak about that I touched on from
Okay.
that book to this book.
Okay. Okay. So it's going to kind of be on almost the flip side.
Right.
Okay. Okay. I was like, well, other than reading the book and, you know, obviously your upbringing, your teaching, and all that good stuff, how do these women bypass some of these situations? But you said it's in the next book, so I'm going to be looking for
Yeah.
that.
When I was in the federal system, I went to 5 federal prisons. In the federal system, I was doing programs. That's how I moved around. Like we said when we first opened this up, I got 13 kids. They're not just in Kansas City. They're all over. So I said, look, I got this time. I want to move around and do my time so I can see my kids. So I went from Oklahoma to Georgia to South Carolina to Illinois, and then I got out from Leavenworth here in Kansas. During that time, I was around some real what I call werewolves. These are men who are so good with words. I'm talking about they code and no diddy, right? They look like they talking.
Oh,
You usually see pretty boys and they don't even know how to talk because they so used to women talking to them. But just imagine Chris Brown just smacking you down, like, and what he's saying is for real and it's relevant and it's mesmerizing. I know some guys like that that's in
right.
there, and this goes to like when people be asking, well, how could you talk to a dude that got life that's in prison? Because there's something about what they saying
Mhm.
that is mesmerizing, that makes you cheerful, that makes the conversation exciting, that gives you more ideas. Because somebody that's sitting and learning and doing research is going to have more input in the conversation about what you're doing out here in the world that a person out here in the world ain't going to have because everybody's moving fast. Ain't nobody sitting down doing research. So I said that to say this. A lot of the things that I got about that gullibleness came from the other side, my side of the world,
Mhm.
dealing with the men that I know that I was dealing with, because I was one of the people writing letters for dudes too that couldn't spell or couldn't write. You know, it's a lot of women that's in love with me in the nation right now. You know what I'm saying? They in love with me. They don't even know it. They don't even know it.
So you would say they have the gift of gab. Truthfully, they have enough time to figure out what you want to hear, present themselves as interested in whatever you're doing. They want to know about your day, what you're doing. They're willing to fulfill the mental and emotional needs of a woman.
Absolutely. They will
And
research you, whatever you interested in. They will get books sent in to them about, say you going to school for nursing. They'll go get a book sent in about nursing, the whole thing, so they can help you over the phone complete that journey. And we all know when somebody helps us do something that ain't nobody else helping us do, we got that kind of love for them.
Mhm.
Like, this person was there, this person was answering questions. Not only that, that gives you a perspective of this person, like, hey, this person is smart. This person is, and they
Right.
are, to even figure out something to do something like that and learn it themselves so they can
Mm.
teach you or help you. That's kind of genius to me. Like, you know what I mean?
And so that kind of
But
kind
yeah,
of goes back to Ricky.
you and Miss Ricky. It's real. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a man that puts in that much effort to learn you and know you, he's for real about you. You know what I mean? He just might not be getting out ever or for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's for real.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody buying books and not asking you to send them and learning what you learning just to play with you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They really actually interested in you. But it's people that will go through them lengths and extents to learn you. And it's people that will go through them lengths also to manipulate you. It's just a hard pill to swallow. You taking a gamble.
Right. Kind of goes back to the Jack Boy situation, how they roped old girl into their scheming.
Absolutely. Happens every day. Happens
Yeah.
every day. You know, you get somebody that ain't from where you from, like say it's Topeka, right? Topeka's a small town, but if you get somebody from Mayetta that come down here, and this of course it's gonna be faster than that, and
Mhm.
you know, you give them an opportunity to make some money, and all they have to do is this, and the first time they see the money, it's for real, and they
Mhm.
treating you right, and they, for the most part, and they, sex is good and everything's going right. You think you living a life. I mean, that happens every day still.
True. So we talked about quite a bit of the situations that were in this book without hopefully giving too much away. Besides a cautionary tale, besides a warning for women, what other perspectives or takeaways would you want the reader to get from the story?
I want you to feel me. I want you to really know that this came from my mind. You know what I mean? This came from me. This is what I put together. My end goal is, first of all, I don't want urban novels just to be my thing. And I
Mhm.
consider this an urban novel because of what we're dealing with in the book. I don't just want to be that. I want to be so much more than that. And that's what my next book is about. But anyway, we ain't gonna talk about that yet. But I want people to get that this shit is happening.
Mhm.
It's happening. This is real. This is real life. This is like a Tupac rap in book form. A lot of times people don't feel me until they read it. I got a friend, I argued her up and down. She only got past the first part. She didn't read nothing after that. She's like, oh, it's all about this and about that. You just read the first couple chapters, right? She didn't get past the Tierra situation. She
Okay.
closed the book.
She was clutching her pearls too tight.
Man, too tight. So if she would have read the whole book like I encourage her to all the time, then maybe she would have got some understanding. If people read, I tell people all the time, if you read the first 5 chapters, man, you'll keep reading the book.
I don't want to give too much away, but the drug usage aspect of it and what happened to one of the characters, I thought something a little bit more heinous should have happened to that person.
Right?
I felt like that was a easy consequence. I just felt it should have been just something a little bit more nasty.
Right. Fortunately, that really happened. God will take care of things
Mm-hmm.
for his people.
Mm-hmm.
And God ended up taking care of that for that person,
Right.
She didn't have to get dirty,
Right. 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 Yes.
She didn't have to get dirty. So
Yeah. I was waiting to see what happened to the partner though, because I was like, he need to get it too.
right, right. You talk, yeah.
Yeah, he need to get it. So if you don't know, audience, we are trying to conceal some things so that you will go and get the book for yourself and read it. So once you read the book, you can double back and you'll be like, okay, now we know what they're talking about when they mention this and that. Okay.
Absolutely.
So yes, we are kind of like giving you some juicy tidbits to entice you to go read it. But yeah, you some of this you're gonna have to go read and get the whole full real deal yourself. Okay. I just thought the other guy should have got it too. I was a little
His
disappointed.
victim wasn't so worried about it, I should say. You know what I mean? Like I mean, let's just be honest.
Should have got something too. With all the accolades and achievements I mentioned earlier, what made you say, I want to be a writer? This is something I want to do and complete because you've written quite a few. 20? Did
Over
was that
20.
right? Okay,
Over 20,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Uh
what gave you the writer bug other than your uncle sending you them one-liners?
DeAndre Smith, which is a Topeka native. He's also an educator, very, very, very smart man. He's actually a part of my circle, uh, my mentor circle. I remember him a couple years ago. He telling me, "Hey, don't you got a don't you got some books or something that you wrote? Like, why ain't you why ain't you coming out with them? What you just gonna waste your time? You know what I mean? All that time." And he really lit that spark. Wow. You know what? You're right. And like I said, 97% of the books that I wrote was while I was incarcerated, but I never put them out when I was out here. I never, went through the editing, through the book covers, I wasn't doing no research. So he lit that. And as I'm doing that, more stuff is coming in my head about this book. As I'm pulling books out, reading through it, making sure, putting them on Google Docs. I'm like, oh, I need to change that. That's not relevant no more. That's not, this is that, this is,
Mhm.
and it's just, I'm on a roll right now. And I want to put as much of the stuff that I have already completed out as I can, because I know one day there's going to be a writer's block, and it might be months, it might be years before I get back into speed. But somebody told me when I was in the feds that a picture that you take with a camera only lasts, lasts maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 years. A picture that you paint can
Mhm.
last hundreds of years. So I think that with a book versus rapping. Yeah, music can last, but this book will be here forever. These books will be here forever. And they'll be circulated. Every place that I've ever been. Are you familiar with the author? I think his name is Louis Lamar. He wrote about cowboy stuff, and everywhere that I've ever been has been one of his books somewhere.
Oh
And
wow.
I just want to be like that. I want one of my books to be everywhere. Every library, every prison, every school, every college. It's been a
Mhm.
Louis Lamar book. So that's how I eventually want to be. Now, mind you, he's been dead for 70 years probably, but his
Mm,
books are still circulating. His kids, his grandkids, his great grandkids are still eating off his books.
mm.
And that's my goal.
So it's a legacy thing as well.
Absolutely. When pictures become virtual and they standing up, I want my old picture to be sitting on the wall. Christopher was here. In the 1900s. It's 2000 and it's 2133. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, that oh, I can't remember the movie, but Bill Bellamy immortalized my,
Right, for
was just
real.
taking that
Yeah.
picture to immortalize my shit. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's kind of that's dope. Your style of writing, did you write it by hand? You mentioned like uh Google Docs, voice record, and then type it. Like how is your process of writing?
My first 11, 12 books was handwritten, and I had to convert them to Google Docs to get them edited and converted to PDF. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Now it's just straight Google Docs. And no, I don't do no voice recording. I do typing because typing, I can type pretty fast too.
Mhm.
So typing is the speed that I want to go without making mistakes, if you would. If I talk, I might go back and it say some other stuff, and I'll be like, dang, what did I say? What did I say then? Because I've tried that before.
Mhm.
Like, what was I saying? Like, I might go back tomorrow and be like, what was I talking about? Like, I
Okay.
lost a whole paragraph. I done lost a whole scene, or I done lost, you know what I mean? Because it channeled what I was saying and made it sound like something else. So I'd rather type it.
Okay.
That way I know I'm not making mistakes. And if I make a mistake, I can go back right then and there and correct it. But that's how I do it now.
Okay. For this particular story, after it has been, done, completed, published, is there anything that you would have changed or modified?
Nope.
No? No?
There, even though there is another version of that book that is not has not been released. And let me tell you why. The first version of that book I sent to my uncle, Arthur Raymond Florio,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't do nothing with it. Like I'm thinking that he's gonna do what I'm doing, like while I'm in prison. Like he's gonna type it up for me, edit it, put it out, send it back to me, so he can make a little money off of it or whatever. But he didn't do that. He just sat it down and just made it nothing. So I'm like, man, what are you doing? And he like, nothing. I'm like, man, send my book back, man. He didn't ever send me my book back. So I had to write a whole nother one from notes that I had from the last book.
Wow.
So there's a version of this book that's the real authentic version that has never came out. And it's still written in a notebook.
Okay. So, since others have read this book that families, friends, acquaintances, associates, what feedback have you gotten from them?
From my friends,
Yeah,
associates,
friends, families, associates that have read the book.
everybody who reads the book likes it. I've not gotten no bad feedback at all.
Okay.
Not
So,
yet anyway.
okay. So, sometimes there's people, oh, you shouldn't have wrote that. Oh, why did you say that? Or honey, you shouldn't have talked like that. No one's no one's clutched their pearls or let you know they clutched their pearls besides me.
If they knew me when I was rapping, they know like this is him. He raw. If I sing you one of my old songs, you'll be like, oh, okay. This is what he do.
Oh, this,
I
this,
told
this,
I
this.
told stories, so
Okay.
you don't know me though, you'll be probably like, this boy is sick. This boy crazy. Like, and I think that's kind of how my friend is. She been knowing me since I was 14. I don't know her level of her knowing how smart I was because, you've been knowing me since I was 14. You've been knowing I've been, kind of in and out of institutions. I don't think that she knows the intelligence level that I'm on now. You know what I mean? So by her reading that first part of that book, it shut her off. Like, oh, this is going to go into some YN stuff. And I don't blame her because, the life I was living.
Right.
But if she reads past that part, she will understand, like, okay,
Yeah.
I get why he told this story.
Yeah. The first time I read it, I was just like, oh, I sat back and thought about it and I did read it again. It's like go past the first layer, really get the underlying circumstances and concepts, get past the words, right? Because
Right.
we know there's some strong language, there's some cuss words, there's some, how people talk. But if you can get past that, although you might clutch your pearls, there's some actual meaning, there's some depth behind it.
Right. Right. And that's what I was kind of wanting to project.
Yeah.
This gonna really give you some game in a different way. If you really read this book, if you really sit down, get you some coffee, cross your legs, light you a candle, and you read it, yeah, you gonna get some woo, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
as the story goes on, you're gonna be like, damn, man, it's gonna take you through an emotional roller coaster.
The book you can obtain on Amazon. So did you self-publish? You self-published. Do I have that correct?
Absolutely. Hmm.
Okay. So tell me the pros and cons that you may have experienced with self-publishing.
This is my thing: self-publishing versus going to a publisher. Right?
Mhm.
I've weighed those options. Self-publishing, I own my rights, my masters, everything. When you go through a publisher, they obtain certain copyrights to your book. They obtain certain royalties to your book. Even the ones that say, "Oh, just give us $3,000 and we'll do this and we'll put it here and we'll put it there," they're still getting paid off your book. Doing it this way, to me, is going to generate more money in the long run versus generating the money that a publisher can bring. Because you're paying them for the service that I'm doing myself. I can go and charge somebody $3,000 right now to publish their book and put it on all Barnes and Noble, Amazon, ebooks, Google Play, Apple Store. I can do all that. And that's all they doing is just putting it everywhere. That's the difference. If you learn how to do it yourself, you obtain all those royalties. They put your books places that you don't even know you're making money off your book at, and they keep that. They can
Okay.
be selling your book in Japan. You wouldn't know it. That's the thing
Okay.
about it. I obtain all my rights. This is me. This is mine. If somebody comes and tries to make a movie out of my book, it's all me. If I was with
Mhm.
a publisher, we have to go through them, the literary agent, and all this, and all that. Of course, you need a literary agent to shop your book around for movie roles and stuff like that anyway. So you got to
Mhm.
split your money with them anyway. But you're still gonna have to pay the publisher, they lawyers, they fees and stuff like that. You got all those people that got to get paid before you. This way, I'm making all the money. Now I can go for a distribution deal. We can do that. We can do for Sure's LLC. 'Cause Cash Money got some book. Strange Music got some book chapter to their music
Right.
label. We can do a distribution deal. But the rights, my copyrights, my book, my material will still be mine. I would just be paying them to present it at concerts, to present it at this, and to put my stuff on billboards and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
What upcoming books you have? Because you mentioned there's going to be a part two male version for this book, and your background is referencing
two
this book.
guns, two guns.
Okay, I have not read it yet, but I do have it.
Okay.
So tell us what's next to come for you that we should be on the lookout for.
The Nerve of Niggas is the sequel to The Nerve of a Hoe.
Okay.
It's not finished yet. That book is being finished out here. It started in there though. So,
Mhm.
time consuming. Two Guns is out now. It's about slave owners. 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, 1867. We were like cattle to them. So when we got let go, cropping the crops and mowing the lands and all that stuff, these two slave owners knew that they was about to lose everything.
Mhm.
So one of the slaves came back and told them, "Look, I can give you everything that you dreamed of if you just let me do this spell on you." The slave owners knew that the slaves, some of them knew voodoo.
Mhm.
And Big Mama always cured Master when he was sick. So they like,
Mhm.
all right, cool. But he tricked them.
Oh.
He put their souls in these two guns.
Oh.
So after a while, of course, nobody, nobody picks them up or anything. They get sent to a museum. They owed, you know, the guns you
Mm.
put in the boom. You know what I mean? They get put in the museum. From a museum, they get auctioned off to a guy at a pawn shop.
Uh-oh.
So when they get put in the pawn shop, the two guns, the souls get to talking like, look, we need to get up with the times. We owe, look at those guns down there. So they transfer their souls into these two Glocks. Right. So one of the Glocks gets sold to a police officer. The other Glock gets sold to a young black man.
Okay, don't tell no more. Don't tell no more. Don't tell no more. We're gonna have to go get it and read it for ourselves. Don't tell no more. Don't tell no more. Woo! Yeah, yeah, I'm about to read that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell everybody where they can obtain your book. Give us your website information, author pages, whatever you got of how to get your material or connect with you.
Okay, so you can get my book anywhere, but I prefer you get it off Amazon. That's where I make, you know, that's where I make the most, and that's what's gonna get to your house the fastest. You know what I mean? It's gonna be light on the shipping and handling for you. You know, I got to deal with them. You know what I mean? So Amazon.com, you can look up books by OG Plugger. You can look up OG Plugger. You can Google me,
Okay.
OG Plugger. I actually have 3 pen names. OG Plugger, that's for the stories. Asajj is for the self-help books. And then I've just introduced Dyng Hamilton, Dyng Hamilton. He's more of the Black history storyteller, the analyzer, the researcher. So all these books you can get on Amazon, but to get Two Guns, to get The Nerve of a Hoe, and I have another book under OG Plugger, which is called Anubis, The Awakening. You get these on Amazon. My author page is www.amazon.com/author/OG Plugger with 1 G, not 2. Pluger.
Okay. And I will have that information attached to this video as well.
Mm-hmm.
People will know that. Now you did mention the self-help. There was one book that was there at the meet and greet that we talked about. The relationship one.
Yeah, I got some relationship. I got some guarding your heart. Released a little. It's probably 100 pages. It's called Good Luck Finding It in Black. The guide to attracting and keeping a good man. You know, I'll be getting with you. You know, and
Yeah,
I'll be letting you know what's coming out. But yeah, those are under the Asajj umbrella, and Asajj means to ease one's pain. It's just spelled a little different. You know.
okay. So you write books. What kind of do you read books? What kind of books do you read?
I read Stephen King, Lee Childs. I've read a lot of Kiwan, Antoinette Jaquavis, Arthur Raymond Florio, but I really like reading Stephen King books. That's my guy. That's where I was in the mode of with that Two Guns. You know, I was in my Stephen King mode. You know what I'm saying? I want him to come and put his hand on me. Say, "Come here, my child. Let me direct this movie for you."
Look, I know Stephen King is highly popular, highly respected, very celebrated author. I can't read it. I can't read it, and I don't watch the movie either. I can't. I can't. It's too it's scary. I can't. You're from Missouri. You've lived in Topeka. Out of the two, which place gave you the best experiences?
Yeah, of course, Kansas City. Like,
Is Topeka in the top 5?
yes, Topeka's my second home. Listen,
Mm.
I've lived in Kansas City, Topeka, and Georgia.
Mm.
So I've learned a lot about being a man in Topeka
Mm.
because of the people that I surround myself with. I got good friends like Mike. I got a homeboy, Jay Sean. You know what I mean? I got a homeboy named Frank. You know what I mean? I got good people that's around me that are men
Mhm.
that take care of their kids, that take care of the house, that go to work, don't have no excuse in the world.
Mhm.
So these guys have really, you know, coming from Kansas City, you hear a lot of excuses on why you can't do this, why you can't do that. Oh man, you ain't do this. Up here, the people that I'm around ain't no excuses.
Right.
Ain't no excuses. The cost of living is about 8% cheaper than Kansas City. The jobs up here, there are plenty of jobs that pay decent. People's only complaining is it ain't nothing to do. Okay. Well, to me, if I want something to do, if I want to get into something, about an hour, I'll be in Kansas City.
Right. Right.
Then I come on back home. If I'm too wasted to come back home, guess what? There's plenty of hotels down there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
$100 to get you anywhere.
What would you tell any aspiring or upcoming author? Give them some sage advice based on your experience.
Take your time, write a page a day, because that's what helped me. You have to write a page a day. It's like a basketball shooter that shoots 100 shots a day or 500 shots a day or whatever his level's up to. You have to critique your art because you will evolve literally. Like, and I mean that in two different ways. Your literal sense will evolve. Your understanding when you read something else will evolve. You'll start getting writing metaphors from everyday life
Mhm.
when you write a page a day and take your time. People be trying to write books in 3 months and it takes time. Whenever it's done, it's done. You know, you'll know when it's done though. That's one thing about a book. You'll feel it in your soul.
What book do you or concept do you have in mind for a book that you are hesitant or scared to write about, maybe?
My own vision of a love story, like a romance novel. I want to do a romance novel. That's crazy, right? I want to do a
No?
romance
Yeah.
novel where I want people to fall in love with me through my writing. And that's challenging for me because I don't want to manipulate nobody. We seen how the 50 Shades of Grey was doing people, just with, just with that, you know, and, and I think I got something. I do.
Okay. 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 Now, when you do your writing, is there a mood you try to create, an atmosphere that you try to create that gives you the best output?
Set it up like a movie in my head.
Mhm.
The idea comes, let's just say I want to write a book about you. I'm gonna get to know you and I'm gonna be like, so just by talking to you right here, I was started off in school. You know what I mean? She was in school and da 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 da. Da. When I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking about where I'm going with the story,
Mhm.
the start point is important because it's not where it's gonna end.
Like some authors, they'll have like, okay, this is where I want to start. This is kind of where the twist comes in, and this is how I want it to end. Or is it just wherever the ideas and wherever the characters take you, that's where we go? Like there's no prior uh blueprint for what the story is gonna do.
That's a good question. I tell people like this: first, I write the story, then I write the book. So,
Okay.
and that's two different things. So I write the concept of the book, what it's going to be about, the name, and then I come back and write the book. And the book is totally different than the story. The book is where I plot everything out, how long I'm gonna stretch this, what stories I'm gonna tell in this era. Okay, I'm gonna twist this up right here and make this person go over here, or in the next this person gonna die. You know what I mean? This
Right.
is just right, and that's how I structure everything when I'm writing the book. But the story, I write the story first. The character names, the cities, the states, the situations, all that's gonna be written in the story. Then the book is where I twist it around, put it. Some stuff might have happened at the beginning of the story, but in the book, it's gonna happen towards the middle.
Okay. I am so glad that you gave me the opportunity to talk to you. Um,
Absolutely. Thank you.
yeah,
And you're welcome. Thank you.
yeah. So thank you so much, Mr. Harris, for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today. Thank you for writing this book. Everybody, go get it, read it for yourself, um, and then tell us what you think in the comments. All of his information about where to get the book will be added to this video when it is posted. I hope you will come back for another talk in the future for, maybe Two Guns or, some of
Absolutely.
the other books you got going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just
Okay.
reach out to me. You got my information now. Hey, you just call me when you're ready.
And I'll do better about reading my emails on time. So I wish you much success on your journey and hope that you will give us some more literary gold mines here. And so until next time, as always, keep turning the pages, my book lovers.